Money. Paper with this much worth has no business being in college sports. Today I will be discussing the controversy surrounding today's debate on whether or not college athletes should be compensated for their play. For decades, student athletes have been fighting to receive compensation on top of a full scholarship, and now more than ever. Education is a priority. A journalist, a part of the New Yorker, states, "It fails first of all to recognize the value of sports as a part of education." Student athletes get to experience so much more than LSU's athletic facilities, such as countless libraries and databases with over millions of books and articles. Universities were built to educate students and provide a platform for athletes to perform at an amateur level, not to spoil athletes with gifts that overshadow their free education. Paying college athletes would absolutely ruin the game. And when I say that, I genuinely mean it. In college sports, athletes on scholarship are provided with free tuition. This free tuition is tax-free. They get everything from sleep, they get a place to sleep, place to live, free food, and a free education. When paying athletes, you have to take into account how private schools will have a much higher tuition, will be able to have a bigger pool on big name athletes. For example, if I'm an athlete, top rated athlete, and I'm trying to decide on where to go to college and money is in the equation, I'm obviously going to go to the college that provides the most money. College sports is a very equal playing field right now. To add money into the equation would just throw everything off balance. Another downside to the allowance of student athletes being paid is that camaraderie of the sport would be tarnished. Camaraderie is basically the relationships and interactions you have with people doing something that you like. In a Forbes article, Victor Littman wrote, "Anything that contributes to further increasing the already stratospheric cost of college only adds to the students' mountains of unsustainable debt." While people are more especially exposed to the benefits of paying college athletes, there are plenty of downsides, such as more debt that could very much be unappealing to any other student who's not an athlete. The middle ground. In this heavily talked about topic, there are some middle grounds that can be deemed as necessary. In my opinion, in terms of money, I believe a university should be allowed to provide a bi-yearly or a bi-month or a monthly stipend to athletes who aren't financially secure enough to make such a huge commitment, disabling their ability to have a job. And what I mean about this is that I believe NCAA should be allowed to have the option to pay or compensate certain student athletes who maybe have a tough time making money, or family has a tough time. They're just in a tough spot, and because of the overwhelming commitment of the game of football, that they just will not have time to work and to make money. However, when checks start to reflect the performance of a college athlete and their fame, the essence of the game is completely ruined. Another idea to combat the idea of no compensation would be to supply their athletes with an escrow account. This account would compile all the royalties that the athletes have earned in their time in college for name and likeness, and they would receive all these earnings after a degree was earned. This was brought to light by Alex French in 2019, and he was a part of ESPN. And the main reason for this certain act to be passed would be to encourage players to finish their education and to receive a degree before being, I guess, overwhelmed with cash and responsibility. Throughout the speech, I discussed the importance of education for student athletes and how sports would be affected and some solutions for the topic. Money is a very powerful object and can ruin the essence of college sports in just an instant. Student athletes are called student athletes for a reason. They're not professionals, and it'd be best to just keep money out of the equation. Lastly, students athletes, I want to bring back the topic that students are already provided with free education, living, and food. What else could you ask for? That is my speech on whether or not student athletes should be compensated for play.